We developed our flexible connections policy in January 2017. It's a live document, it's in place, there's a little typo there, it was this year. We are today, tomorrow and every day in between developing that process so that when you go to any of our districts you get that consistent approach. Principals access, a lot of work has been undertaken to date in the business to understand what the principals access are. They need to be fair, they need to be transparent, and you need to know what you're signing up to when you come forward to get a connection application. So there's a lot of work been ongoing at the moment to develop those principals access, which may not be the same for every area. There will be some subtleties, but again, it's about understanding that early engagement within the district that you're seeking to connect, or to understand what are the rules in the game in terms of connecting. We have different increasing optimisation and complexity here. So time connections, export limiting devices, they're already in place. We have a number of those already out in our network. Local management schemes, A&M, managing maybe a voltage rise, a thermal limit, but again it's only limited, relating to one customer. We've also looked at virtual private wire. So how we can accommodate generation, looking at demand, getting a lot more prosumers in terms of customers coming forward who have got demand linked to the proposed generation. So that's other potential connections that we're looking at. I've just went through the types of connections that we have. Time connections, export limiting devices, local management schemes, remote interchip and active network management. What I would say is, when you're coming forward, early engagement with us as a DNO is key to actually realising some of these opportunities. But we're looking at a staged approach in terms of connection application. And the first thing we do from stage one is actually look, where have we got to today? What have we done in the past that works? And that gives you as a developer an opportunity to actually see what is the options for connection. And if you can see that early enough at stage one, then you can actually come to a reasonable conclusion on what you want to develop and how you want to develop your project. Fundamentally want to get the principle out there. We can provide you with that connection, we can provide you with that detail, but there is a cost to that because our design teams are engaged to do that, and it's over and above what they would ordinarily do. 1 in 10 of the applications we receive actually translate through to a full connection offer or go through to are actually accepted. In the trial area, doing what we've done today, 100% of the connection applications have went through and have connected or in the process to connecting. Everybody loves getting a flexible connection to get connected, but the first minute you're constrained, you want to know why. And again, it's how do we interact better on the back of that. It will be a lot of phone calls initially, but you need a point of contact. But something that's more autonomous is the way we want to look. But that's the longer term thinking, but at least to give you a view that's in their psyche at the moment. That's the things we're working towards, but don't expect that soon. That's what I'm saying. But these are the things that we've been building on in terms of our product offering. As I say, that connection offer is available to you if you ask for it. But what I will say is we need to work with all the district teams to make sure the processes are aligned. Our experts, most of them are in our room here today. We've all got identified points of contact with our DG experts, and I would encourage you to speak with them in the first instance. And again, most of you know you can get in contact with myself, and we'll be working very closely with the teams to support them.
We're offering flexible connections as an alternative way to connect to the network should you be hit by distribution constraints or transmission constraints. This may be to defer reinforcement or get earlier access to the network. So the first scheme is a single generator active network management. It's an alternative to reinforcement, so rather than putting a new subsea cable in. And it's established methodologies and procedures, so we now know how to roll these out consistently and have everything in place. We've made it more efficient. We will monitor everything in real time at these constraint points. So if you look at the graph on the right-hand side, we'll be monitoring the current flowing through the network, and if it breaches any of the thresholds, we will curtail that generator back. So we're monitoring everything in real time. So the idea being in winter, when demand's at its maximum, there's going to be capacity there. Following on from that, we'd evolve into full active network management scheme. Again, we've got established methodologies. The advantage being we can have multiple zones in any area, multiple generators and multiple constraints. So I'm now going to move into the more newer products that we're looking to roll out, which is shared capacity. So at the moment, there might be a generator. Let's assume generator A on the left-hand side has contracted capacity of 10 megawatts. However, they decide only to build out to 6 megawatts. Generator B then comes along and he can't get connected because he's transmission constraints. But generator A's got spare capacity. What we're saying is generator B can come up with a commercial agreement with generator A to share that capacity. The two of the schemes must have an A&M scheme or a control system in place that controls export from both sites to ensure that contracted capacity is never breached. So in order to apply for flexible connection, you should hold an existing formal offer. Once you've got your formal offer back and you realise that I'm not going to get connected due to the reinforcement, we can sit down and go through the flexible connection options. That'll be done with a member of the Active Solutions team to outline here's what your options are, and then you can come back and apply for that, in which case you'd have to go through another 3 months. So in total, that would be 6 months. Now, we have had some feedback from recent events. We're going to look into that and improving that further to reduce them timescales. So it would be 30 months plus 1 day that you would receive your quote back. So pre-application consultancy process, what SSE are doing, we want to help you as much as we can. So as I've said, if you get hit by a constraint, come and speak to us and we'll sit down, we'll go through our options and talk you through how to apply. From the commercial aspects, we do not do the curtailment assessments. What we will do is send out data packs with all the information that you require to do that. Your queue position will be maintained. So if you're in a transmission stack, your queue position will be maintained. So it'll only be a temporary flexible connection. So that's allowing you to get connected earlier, exporting. And then once you reach the end of the queue, you'll go on to a firm connection.